right, so something worked, hopefully. That was the intro for me. Hi, you've met me. I'm Ken. Um, Following through on my commitment to try and do at least one live stream a day and knock out the rest of these sketch covers that I'm due for the Angel's Blood Kickstarter. If you haven't caught up on Angel's Blood, follow me on Facebook or at kenscomics.net. Angel's Blood and all its books are available at indieplanet.com from writer Michael J. Barr and artist Ken Lenar. That's me. All right. Today I'm going to do a live drawing. I have no idea what's going on here yet. I'm going to try and come up with this off the top of my head. That's half the point and half the fun. Also, sort of a paralyzing, panicky thing. I don't know why I'm doing it. Uh, Something I've been inspired by lately, though, has been watching other artists doing live streams. I've been going down the YouTube rabbit hole watching David Finch and others who have their own Patreons or do tutorials, and it's an incredible amount of fun, and it's humbling and somehow inspiring too to watch some of these cats go through their process. It makes me feel somehow a little less alone in the world when I see creators kind of muddle through the process, and it ultimately Brian Finch is going to create an amazing drawing. But watching every glitch or mistake or thing along the way that's not perfect really kind of um, makes me a little happy. Makes me feel a little less alone. So this is a special sketch cover. I've been doing a lot of Angel's Blood Golgoth because he's the main character. He's the demon. He's the most energetic and exciting. And I feel like I'm going to do another one here today. I brought these out though because I was talking on my last drawing yesterday about my lovely wife and her wonderful gifts, and how she bought me some art supplies for my birthday. And I felt bad. I really haven't used them very much. I started doing some sketching, and then I got very busy with the Kickstarter, and they're sort of going to waste. So rather than sit back and just let them, I'm going to start using them for stuff that's, well, what they're intended for is fun. So that was the whole point, and also connected to work like this, because this is stuff that I have to get done, even though it's fun. It's still stuff that's on my desk that needs to get accomplished. So today, live in front of everybody, I'm going to do a gray toned marker drawing after I sketch out the rough. I've never done that before live, and I've never done this before. I'm going to do something different. So you can watch me fail or succeed along with everybody else and along with me. I'm not the best at narration, so usually when I'm drawing, I have some kind of music or TV in the background to keep half my brain interested and motivated, and the rest of me just going crazy with the visuals. But the auditory senses are a whole other ball of wax. I may repeat myself. I feel like I've explained a lot of things on other videos. So if you've watched more than one of my drawing videos where I do Golgoths, bear with me because I'm going to say probably the same kinds of things I've said before. But I don't think I have a huge wide viewership enough to just to think that everybody's hanging on my every word, and that some of you watching now maybe didn't see some of the other videos. And if you did, well, hopefully you're nice enough to bear with me. One of the things that Golgoth, this guy here, this demon, means to me, and the inspiration for me for a lot of his poses when I start to think, what's he going to do, or how they're going to stand or behave. I think of the conversations that we had in creating him, and sort of what I brought to the character as well. There was a lot of months of preliminary work that went into making these things happen before we actually started drawing. long phone conversations, which sometimes evolved into uh, shooting a shit about comics or um, TV shows, fandom, and stuff. But most often it was Mike and I talking about the Incredible Hulk, which is cool because that's what we have in common. So back to my point, rambler that I am. Golgoth, he's inspired by the Hulk. He's a lot to me. I think he behaves like the Hulk. I think he's got this boiling rage right beneath the surface. Um, and so when he fights, he's angry. When he's uh, yelling, he's raw, and that's sort of what's in my head as I'm doing all of this. So when I draw this thing I'm about to draw, um, I'm thinking rage. I think rage a lot when I think Golgoth. That may be lazy on my part, or it might be inspired. I don't know which. They say good artists copy, great artists steal. I don't know. I don't think I'm great, but I definitely think I take my influences from some of the best. And frankly, I can live with that. So, you see me, my hand moving around here a lot because I'm in my head. I'm picturing like, where's this go? Where does that go? And spatial relationships and stuff. I'm trying to think about where the next move is, and I skip around a lot, um, especially on something like this where I haven't drawn out an outline. If this were a not a real project, if this were a page or a cover or a pinup, I would have probably sketched it out in blue already so that I could get the placement of things. But for the purposes of this drawing and doing it live, I really wanted I wanted the magic to just kind of flow and happen, um, just organically. So I find that in some of my live drawings, I look at them later and I cringe a little bit because I think my perspective is off or my positioning is off, or you know, I would have done better if I'd had more time. But that's kind of the point here, is to not have all that time. Um, the the fun of this project is in its rawness. In fact, one of my favorite things about Angel's Blood is how it has this edge to it that some of my work is lost. To be honest with you, as I've gotten more professional work and polishing my art for print and for other comics, and especially more antiseptic comics that aren't bloody and gory and gross and raw. Um, some of my art doesn't have that edge to it, and I miss that. So, one thing in the new Angel's Blood Zero, this project, is um, is that I tried to capture the raw edge, and let me show you a little bit. I tried to capture some of the raw, gritty edge in the line, in the art, in the line work. Oh, that's Lubasan Mohammed. You don't know Mohammed? Find Mohammed. Mohammed Lubis is one of the contributors, and he's a great, great artist. I was really happy to hire him for this book. Um, so the rawness is, it works sometimes, and other times I want it to be very, want it to be more slick. So I really practiced, you know, taming down my cross hatching a little bit, but still keep it more Mohammed. He's got two good pinups in this, but still trying to have an edge to it. So this is kind of raw, but this isn't all crosshatchy because this picture didn't need it. He's coming out of the water, and I felt like it needed to be hard and edgy, but it also needed to have cleaner lines. So I did a lot of cleaning up from what I would normally do. Because I mean, my new project's called Hatched, and it's called Hatched for a reason because I live for the cross hatching. Um, some say too much, and that's fine. That's probably true, but it's a style choice, and it's my style. So I'm going with arms here. I think I want, in my mind, I'm picturing like an arm back here, but I don't want to draw it. So that means if his shoulder goes to his elbow, goes to his wrist. And that's how I get to draw a hand here. Um, I've been asked about doing more drawing tutorials, and I might do that yet. Um, but I don't know. I don't know. My confidence is not that high yet, um, with my modest amount of followers, that I think I'm so great and I have so much to say, and that I can be an example. Like, there are people that know more than me, there are people that know less than me, and everywhere in between. I think every artist is like that. I mean, I watch guys like Todd McFarlane or David Finch, or holy cow, Bob McLeod. Um, I mean, is an amazing, long-standing Marvel um, artist, Marvel DC artist. He's a co-creator of New Mutants, now on Netflix. Check it out. Um, and his work just, I mean, I feel like it pales. My word pales. And then there are, people on a level maybe somewhere else that maybe think that my work is amazing, because I hear that. I don't want to sound all cocky, but I mean, I do what I do. So, back to my point, I don't know that I can do tutorials yet. I don't know if I'm somebody to teach. I can explain though. I mean, I can tell you what I'm doing and why. I can tell you about my process. Um, I don't know that a tutorial is the right word for what I'm doing. I just realized I'm supposed to be doing this with a gray tone marker thing, so I just decided to just do less detail there on the hair. So let's go back here. What I'm thinking though, I always think about a skeleton underneath this drawing. Okay, so somewhere under here, when I'm sketching it out, I'm thinking, you don't see it, but in my mind, I see the shoulders, I see a clavicle, I see a spine. So in my head, the spine's here. I'm not going to draw it, but I'm going to run my pencil down until I get to here, and that's going to give us his belt. Golgoth has a symbol that's a little off. Another thing about the Angel's Blood that I was always happy with, a lot of stuff came out of this project that was just sort of inspired. I mean, we worked on it a lot. We worked on changing the character designs, but there's other parts of it that were just like perfect from the minute they came up. And one of them, one of my favorite elements, maybe that I've ever done, has been the sideways cross, um, and giving them that on his belt. Just an emblem. The arrows mean something to me. They mean, if this were a standing cross, the arrows point to all directions, and that's a philosophical choice on my side. Um, it doesn't enter into Angel's Blood at all, but it's subliminal. You'll get more of that on my next. The project I'm coming out with next year is a bit more of a religious introspection, um, where I think I talk about theology and faith and supernatural and God or no God, or what. It's going to be heavy, compared to the stuff I've done in the past, but it's also, hopefully it's going to be something thought provoking. So anyway, to the point, like, this points to heaven, hell, or anywhere in between may be the way to go, or the direction not to go. The cross being fallen on its side, to me, symbolizes how this book has the effect of talking about the fall of heaven, um, which, yeah, Golgoth is trying to, strangely enough, trying to prevent. Golgoth is a anti-hero, kind of. He's not really a hero, but and again, like the Hulk, ends up somehow on the right side of things. The Hulk is a reluctant hero. The Hulk is not my favorite version of the Hulk anyway. There's been the Avengers type Hulk and the heroic Hulk, of course, that's there, but it's not the Hulk at his core is a monster. He's just a misunderstood, persecuted monster, and he will always do the right thing when faced with it, but he doesn't set out to. He's not like Batman. He doesn't go on patrol looking for bad guys to foil. They find him, and he's usually the one under attack. And I'm doing that thing again where I'm shading where I didn't want to shade, because I want to do more with the toned markers. And that may, again, that may or may not work in this picture. Hopefully I make a decent picture. If not, I guess I'm just going to keep this one and do another one for my backer. Dun, dun. Wish I had some music. Um, Also, I apologize for doing these kind of things so late because I know a lot of people aren't able to watch or comment, or you're catching this stream another time. But it's just like for me, um, the most convenient time for me to do anything, work on any comics, is late at night when the world is quiet, and so that's when I do a lot of my these things, and I post a lot of them. So if you're missing or wishing that I could do some videos during the day, give me a holler because I want to try to. I want to get back to a regular schedule of doing them um, uh, Mondays or Tuesdays. I'm not sure because I like doing the videos inspired by my man Ted Davies. Honestly, um, not that I'm any kind of podcaster or even want to be a broadcaster, but I do like putting stuff out there, and it's fun for me, and it gets my work out in different ways. Missing my there it is. Couldn't see my video for a minute. So the hair for Golgoth. All right. The hair for Golgoth is inspired by my character Luna, Devil's Mistress. She's when I was about 19, I created this character, and it was dark. It was very Spawn inspired, um, but also it was I was going through a really tough breakup, and of course, you know, everything's about a girl, so it was a it was rough. She was a murderous character, and that was both an homage and a commentary on where I felt like I was at the time. Okay, I'm gonna do a little bit of hatching over here, partly just to test out my. These markers have never been used, so as I work on this, ooh yeah, as I work on this picture, this is going to be the first time I've ever seen this actually in use, and this is a Tombow is a brand of marker that I've got some black markers, and I've used a lot of black inking pens that Tombow makes, and the brushes on these things, and that's why she got me these brush tips. Oh God, you're just like butter. Um, okay, I'm liking this a lot. Um, Part of me wants to go clean, and part of me wants to just go rough with it. It's Angel's blood, so I mean it can stand to be rough. I'm doing this just off the fly, so I don't have a plan. I don't have a perfect lighting source, but I'm gonna try and keep my lighting source up here where Punk Comics looks, shining down here this way, and we'll see what we come up with this kind of edge. See, that's too light. The thing I like about shading, and I do this with my cross hatching, is you can start light and always go darker. You can't go lighter and or go too dark and then lighten up. Um, so it's one of the reasons I'm not a good painter because I'm actually too afraid to just get in there and start painting. So to another point, I saw a really good tutorial today with another one with Brian Finch explaining some painting techniques that simplified it for me, and I really might try to get into that. In fact, it's like a 4 hour video you can paint along with Brian Finch. I know I talk about a lot about Brian Finch. Just happens to be the guy I'm into uh, watching right now. So I'm gonna set that aside so I remember the color to get back to. And I want to select a darker color. This is slightly darker, but I'm not sure if it's dark enough. Oh, damn. Yes, it is. Okay. All right. And so now that I see how damn dark that is, Um, Dang, that's almost black. That's practically inking style, man. Um, Pardon my commentary on my own surprising stuff, but whew, baby. So I think he's starting to use brush tip pens has gotten me more excited about the idea of painting. Um, the thing about painting that I'm not into is that I'm not so skilled with a brush. But these brush tips, these felt brushes, they don't splinter like uh, bristles do, on a brush. And that's really my thing. And that might be because I don't invest in very quality brushes, but it's hard for me to justify investing in good brushes if I don't, if I'm not going to use them and if I'm not good at painting. So that's one of the things on my bucket list, though. I got two major art things on my bucket list, and one of them is to get good at painting. I'm sorry for the pause there. I talked with my man Ted on his show tonight, Truth Mongers, and there's a concept uh, called no, it's not called. I mean, I call it art time, and it's that time doesn't pass the same for artists when you're creating something, and that goes for probably uh, writers, dancers, musicians as well. When you're creating something, time acts differently, but I know it doesn't. It's perceived differently. That's all. But still, like if you hear me pause, it's because my brain just is so in the moment that nothing else is happening. It's almost like freezing time. Like my brain will freeze, but my hand will keep going. That's just me as an artist. It's part of my process. I do love it though. Been a tough year for everybody, and one thing that's kept me going was just continuing to create new things. Angel's Blood in particular, getting the zero issue together and running the Kickstarter and planning the Kickstarter for it. It pulled me out. We all sat in this like dark time. I know everybody probably remembers their quarantine phase of this pandemic, and we whether you call it quarantine or lockdown or restrictions or whatever, it was tough. It was hard. I think a lot of good things have been born from it, but I'm starting to go crazy with the dark here. I think I want to go into getting some different values. So I did it again. I paused the art time I was talking about. I always wonder. I have friends that are musicians, and if they just go in the studio and just lose time like that, um, it's one of the dangers of working late at night like I do. I lose time and I look up and oh man, it's 4 in the morning. I have been drawing all night and I don't even uh, notice the actual time. Okay, I want to keep going with this color, but I also don't. All right, I gotta try this. I gotta try this one. This is practically black. Holy smokes, that is practically black. Okay, so this is a little bit like painting. I'm going over some things. Um, I don't want everything to be too dark, but some things have to be like black, and one of them is inside the mouth, Golgoth, and there's no light inside the jaws, so that should be black, black. I think the very deepest recesses of the shadows of the hair and the underside here also have to be like black, black, but nowhere else. That wouldn't be my thing. And again, trying to remember my light source. So over here, I'm not going to use any black if I can help it. And then over on this side, I'm going to use the darkest I can. Try and keep with that illusion that there's a light over there where Punked Comics is coming from. This is fun. Oh my god, I got to do more stuff with these. Remind me when my wife wakes up to thank her. She's blissfully sleeping ignoring my art ramblings. Mm, that's so nice. I wish this had been around. If I'd had these, I'm gonna go do a little test over here. Oh yeah. And if I'd have had these way back when we did the first Angel's Blood, we could have done the black and white issue just like we did, and with less emphasis on cross hatching for the shading. Honestly, I went heavy on the cross hatching because I mean it was 20 years ago, and I didn't really know any better. I didn't know anything about grayscaling or wash or um, any stuff like that. So wow, certainly these are really nice to use. I am so excited. Back to my man Ted Davies. I don't know. Ted watches my stream sometimes, and sometimes he doesn't. Um, if he is watching, I was thinking about you today when I was watching some painting videos because I liked watching your tutorial on creating the extra art for Grimm, and watching your watercolors was kind of inspiring. Watching you do that, I like that a lot. Made me feel like, hey man, that's pretty cool. Like when you look at art that somebody has done, you think, holy crap, that's amazing. I could never do that. But like Bob Ross makes amazing landscapes. And if you just saw them at the very end, you would never think you could do that. But watching the process, you look like, man, if you start from scratch and you follow the steps, maybe you can. Um, so not that I'm looking at Ted's art and going like, oh, I could do that, but looking at the steps and enjoying the process with him, it doesn't diminish it. In fact, it enhances it and makes me inspired a little to think maybe I could do something like that. That's a whole other level of art that I haven't even looked at because I'm an inker. I think of myself as an inker more than a penciler. Even I live for the inks. Penciling to me is just a step that I have to get through so that I can ink. That's my favorite part of it. Some people don't. Some people think it's tedious. I happen to think it's the most fun and amazing part of making comics is polishing those lines, making things happen. These are these are really responding nicely. My goodness, I'm so happy. I have a feeling my whole next comic book is gonna be done with watercolors and Tombow toned water-based brushes. Damn, yo. So I've said this on other videos, and here's something that I do badly all the time. Whenever I'm drawing Golgoths, especially in a pose that like I like this, and I'm very interested in this. I like this pose a lot, and I think it's coming out. I've got rage, I've got anger, I've got I'm sure some artists might be are going to watch this and go like, "You are screwing up so much." I just want to say, I get it, and I think so too, and I don't care because I'm enjoying the hell out of this, and it's a sketch, not a finished, polished art piece anyway. I always can put, like, I will always put more in if I can, so I'm gonna have to edit myself here pretty soon. But in my head, I'm just trying to see if it's giving off the right vibe, if it's the kind of picture I want to do here. And I really had it in my mind that I wanted to make sure that I did a good deal of the shadow and light because I wanted it to be a little bit stark. Man, I actually busted out some inking markers for this. I'm a big fan of the Faber-Castell Pit series. My man, Zach Bassett from Cosmic Times hooked me up with, or told me about those a long time ago and changed the game for me. Because up until that point, I had worked exclusively in technical pencils, which, if in a nutshell, is basically like just using a very, very tiny fine tip for everything. Um, Now, there are several sizes of them, but even the biggest size of technical pencil you can get can only give you a little thin line. And I used to work like that on every single thing. My first book, Angel's Blood, or not Angel's Blood, I'm sorry. My first book professionally was From Blood with Cosmic Times, and I did it entirely with technical pencil and Sharpie marker for the thicker parts. So when I had a big solid area to color in, obviously you can't use a little marker or a little pen, but I did that whole thing with tiny lines, and I just had to go over them and over them and over them to make different line weights, and I did to much to my detriment because I mean, dude, I spent at least 10 hours a page on those pages. That's not very cost effective for an indie artist. But to me, it wasn't about that. It was my first paying job, and all I needed to do was like make it good, and I did. I hope I did. That book was just re-released last year. They did a colorized version. The original was black and white, and then again, that's why the inks had to look. To me, they had to look amazing because it was a black and white book. And dude, if you don't have the benefit of color to do your shading and tell your story, then you absolutely need for tons of cross hatching, tons of shading, tons of line art to do all of that. So I'm getting very close here to being happy with this. Not there yet though. I think I want to go back to this guy and do some more drastic, a little more drasticness on this side because I'm going to do something else. And again, that's where like I can always go over the stuff that's too light and make it darker. But if I had made it too dark, I can't go back and lighten it up. So that's why I'm here going over stuff that I've already done. But I mean, painting is like that in layers. Um, Anybody that draws or paints in Photoshop, you use layers. That's probably not the best example, honestly. Depending on how you use your Photoshop and your opacity and stuff like that. Now I'm just getting into the weeds of some other stuff. I'm stalling for time because I'm thinking about my next move here. I don't want it to look too rough, but I do like a rough, gritty feel for this particular piece. So what I'm doing here. Oh, I started to talk about this a second ago because what my next move is to finish the wings, and I often draw Golgoth, and I do an interesting pose or what I think is interesting, and I forget to give him wings. And wings were such a big deal when designing him. Um, the original Golgoth did not have wings. My Golgoth design had wings. But we didn't want to do your typical, normal, leathery, boring, and I don't mean boring, actually. I love the big dragon leather bat wings that a lot of demons always have. They look great. They give a strong impact. But while we did want this to look like a demon, we didn't want it to look like every other demon. So the big wings, I guess, had been done to death. We thought. Okay, so see, I need this whole thing to just be a little more shadowy. But I also need to be rougher, so I need edges of his hair. Sometimes I just give him hair that's like is just broken off or something. Okay. So I gave Golgoth these big wings, right? And what else have I not seen? I haven't seen the crown of horns before, and I've seen little trivial wings before. But what I did was I gave him those leathery batty wings, but I made them small and bat-like, actually bat-like. But then I also doubled up on them. So Golgoth has two sets of wings. And, in this one, I'm not going to be able to see them both and be happy with it. So I think I'm going to go with just one here. And then his wing has a talon on it. And it's going to go from its back straight to here. And then up like that. And then what I think is awesome about these markers is that it's going to let me go right to it. And then I think I'll add some inking elements after the fact that these are brush tip enough. Oh, I'm going to be careful with that. This gave me, though, the chance for Golgoth's wings to have their own character, and at different scenes, I have the ability for them to just go nuts. They can stretch out, they can be smaller, they can condense to where they're behind them and you barely see them, which is why I always seem to forget to put them in, because I'm drawing the main part of the figure. I'm going to go right up to the word 0 there, and not go over it, because I actually like that logo a lot for the 0. Yeah, I could use a music track over my talking. Maybe I'll do that next time. So I'm going to do a little bit of detailing behind here. Not much. Not much. I want to just give the hint of what it is, and the rest of it to be black, because we got shadow coming back here, right? Shadow. I almost said shadow demon. I think that's from something else. I also think I'm going to invest in some more equipment to do my videos, and I might want to start getting into like the live stream, or the fast sped up videos, because you don't need to sit through all my long pauses, do you? I mean, how interesting is that? How interesting am I? Unless I'm answering questions or talking to people, I don't think my circular ramblings are that great to listen to. So, to be honest, I never listen to these back after I post them, because I can't stand the sound of my own voice. Hear me talk? Ugh, nobody wants that. All right, a little bit of darkness in here, a little bit of darkness in here. I'm finally pretty happy with the blackness on some of this. You know who does fabric better than anybody in history? I swear to God, is Jack freaking Kirby. And my man Ted and Glenn Fleming just did a really amazing podcast. I want to say podcast for everything. I'm not using that right. They do a show on YouTube, and Ted does a show called Truth Mongers, and it's really a special kind of cool show that explores unexplained stuff, and it's a little into the conspiracy theory range of discussion, but it's not wacky, crazy. It's more like, well, here's some stuff that's interesting, and here's what I think, and here's what might be, and here's some evidence, or at least some things people have found, and it's more like stuff to think about than it is um, just posing crazy theories. It really is interesting if you like thinking about stuff. They talk about like the lost city of Atlantis and the Mandela effect and spirituality and the pyramids and just all kinds of fun stuff. That's not it's not, like I said, it's not too wacky, not too out there. I like it a lot. All right, friends and fam, here's one more thing I needed to do. And I thought about this before, and then I changed my mind, and now that I'm almost done, I decided punk is going to be the light. Let's make it the light. Punk comics here, right? Okay. This is going to be bright. And now it's going to give me just a few highlights just on this side. So where would my light be coming to? Here for that. A little bit for that. A little bit on this cheek, I think, and this horn sticks out. Da, da, da. Definitely, because this arm is sticking forward. Probably made a logistical mistake there with the wings, but I mean, it's a artistic choice, I guess. All right, fam. That's the end of my bit there. I think I'm happy with it. I'm going to assign this to one of the backers for my Kickstarter. I'm going to sign it right here because I am done. And as you may have heard me say before, the last thing I always do on my drawing is throw that signature up there. That's my cue. That's how I know I'm stopping the process. This is that. Thank you for watching. Hope you liked it. Check me out on the next one. Trying to get this close. All right. Yeah, not too shabby. First time I'm using these markers and pens. Also, this is always what my table looks like when I'm drawing. I definitely can't draw with just like one pencil and one eraser. I need all this stuff at my hand at the ready. Thanks again for trying or for watching. Next time I will I'll do something different. Maybe I'll draw a Hulk next time. Thank you for watching. Check the link in the comments. I'm going to share the upcoming project. Hatched launches in just 1 week. I am freaking out, but it's going to be fun. I'm just kind of looking forward to. Oh, hey, let me show this. There we go. That's a really long link, so that you don't need to type that in. I'll post the link. But I'd like for everybody to check it out. You don't have to support it. It's fine. It's not everybody's cup of tea, but please think about it, like it, share it, tell people about it because it's going to be an interesting art book, and you have the chance to get your ideas drawn into my project. So that said, do some art, take care of each other, and have a wonderful day or night.